Good evening, everybody. Is another. I felt like it literally the market just closed, and here we are, pre-market breakdown. That's probably a good representation of the price action day. That's how boring it was. So, one second, I gotta grab this cord. Alright, sorry about that. Okay. Alright. Yeah, I got it. Thank you. Alrighty, sorry about that, guys. My phone's about to die here, so. Oh man, that makes me want to cry laughing. Alright guys, we're going to go ahead and get started here. No delay. I want to go ahead and get started so I can take some requests. I want to end this at 9 o'clock, 9:15 area. Get ready for tomorrow. So, alright. Alrighty, let's do it. Alright guys, so those of you trading the start this Monday, you guys probably, there was a couple stocks that did quite well, but there was also a handful of ETF correlating stocks that did not do well at all. What's up? What's wrong with Discord? Is it my screen? Hold on, I'm looking. DJ. Sorry, dude. I had to go shopping. I had running errands to run. I'm sorry, man. I'll get that settled up. I need to get it done for the Microsoft videos. Anyway, so right off the bat, guys, we're gonna go over just the major headlines for today. Take a look at our major ETFs. I'll cover the swing trades that we have, and then I'll take your guys' request until we can't, and then we will go from there. All right, so let's do this. So right after our closing out on the day, S&P 500 basically sitting flat, down 0.09%. NASDAQ up 0.16%. The Russell down 0.58%, and the Dow Jones down just 0.30%. This one, are all of these major ETFs pretty much sat flat, and that was for pretty much the entirety of the day. If you guys take a look here at SPY, you'll notice that the same range that we marked this morning is the same range that we are currently sitting in right now. So range-bound trading requires for us to sit on our hands and wait for these opportunities to come to us. So those of you who are new, right, or who are just getting into trading, one of the things that you'll find that most people struggle with the most is not trading. That is the hardest thing to do for a lot of people. And the reason why is, I mean, there's a habitual, right? You know that you could potentially go and make life-changing money or just good ass money, but at the same time, it is our job to evaluate the market and see if it has, or if we have a watch list, if our watch list correlates with what, and is or does it have a chance to break that range. And honestly, I was having a one-on-one with someone earlier, and I want to emphasize this before I go any further. Be picky, okay? With the days that you trade, I trade every day because I'm here with other people, and I know that some people are trading when others can't. There's different skill levels. So I stay on, and there's some days that I only use a very minimal amount of cash. Today was one of those days, and I said that at the open that most of my positions were going to be small until I saw the play that I liked, and I would size in from there. And Microsoft, a lot of the other stocks, they stayed range bound for the entire session, and you can see that represented in SPY in the Qs. And if you guys don't have me on TradingView, or if you guys are curious after this breakdown, I posted a full breakdown on the Qs and Microsoft for basically going into this next week. So if you guys are interested in that, check it out. That's weird. Let's see here. Sorry, 1 second. Sorry, guys. There we go. Sorry about that. Okay, but anyway, Qs, everything, guys. The price action and the range in which we are trading is getting smaller and smaller. So Qs, Dow, everything very, very consolidated, very small amount of price action to give us opportunities that we're looking for. So this is where some people can just set alerts, and whenever those alerts go off, they'll step back into the ring. But until then, they know that there's not much going. So just a heads up for those of you. Those of you who followed us on our GNOG play, I called GNOG maybe about 3 or 4 months ago, down on its lows in this massive daily downtrend falling wedge deal here, and nice accumulation. I think the lowest average that I have was around $11 and $12, and today we capped up for a nice clean $18.50 break. Big volume today on GNOG. GNOG has one of the cleanest as far as just and I have this resistance off, so it actually was up against resistance. And take note here, guys. The chart a lot of the time sets up the news. So you see a nice reversal pattern here on the daily. It's been building for a long time. You get a nice flat. Buyers don't let that $11 level go, and then pop. But that's the beauty of long-term holds, guys, is you can hold and wait for that move to come in, especially when a stock won't make a higher high or a lower low, but it's sitting in range. A lot of times it's waiting for a catalyst to move it to the upside. GNOG, IMPL, and LTC all up. We have GNOG up 50%, IMPL up 16.7, and LTCX up 10%. So those are some of the bigger moves here. Earnings today, before the bell, TTD, earnings and spell expectation for the bell. Revenue over doubled year over year. Earnings per share was around 18 cents compared to the 13-cent estimate. Revenue 280 million and about up over 101% year over year. They actually traded a little bit lower, TTD did. One thing that I like to do when earnings comes around, you'll notice that after earnings, maybe give it a couple days, but a lot of the times you give it a week and you'll see movement. So it's a good thing when you see earnings of a company that you like. A lot of the times the moves will start to come after that earnings. And so right now TTD has a big gap to fill at 77.44. It's got a big support here at 81.50. So it's always worth just setting some alerts on, so that way, even if you decide to catch it to the downside, there's the potential that you could play it both ways, knowing that it's doing well financially and earnings did well as well. That could bring future momentum. So, sorry about that. Okay. Trade Desk, I'm not going to spend too much time on Trade Desk or earnings in general. So Chegg Q2 sales and earnings exceeded Wall Street forecast, and the online learning company raised guidance. EPS, earnings per share, was up 84 cents compared to the 26-cent estimate. Woo! Revenue 198.5 million, up 30% year over year. Subscribers 4.9 million, up 31% year over year. Chegg climbed about 4% after hours. This is actually a company that Top Shelf, he's been rocking this one since before we were born. I feel like this thing has literally been his ripper. But Chegg, nice move here in post market after what was a miserable day. So we could see a potential double bottom out of this. I wouldn't touch Chegg until 85 gets broken. But otherwise, this one has positive earnings. So if this is a company that you trade, looking good. AMC posted better than expected Q2 earnings, with the CEO hailing a transformational quarter in capital raising, I'm sure. Earnings per share was 71 cents versus the 91-cent estimate. Revenue was up 443.7 million, up 2,253% year over year. AMC was up 5% in after hours. As you guys can see here on AMC, I had this little triangle here drawn as we were watching it today, and AMC did actually make a strong move to 37. But then again, you guys have to remember that even with those fundamentals, maybe AMC is not actually worth that much money quite yet, but we'll save that for another day. I don't want to get canceled. What's up, those of you on YouTube? Sorry. Weird. Okay. Sorry. Someone just sent me a message. All right, so other than that, let's see here. Nice. Sorry, I was just reading what he said. Atlas just typed about AMC. I was just reading what he said. He says, thanks to the money raised in May and June, AMC ended 2030 quarter with more than $2 billion of liquidity, cash in the bank, undrawn revolving credit line, right around double the highest quarter-ending liquidity level for AMC has ever seen before in our 101 year history. Interesting. Wow. Yeah, that's big right there. Okay, so AMC, as you guys can see, definitely worth watching going into tomorrow. 37.75 is definitely a good entry on that one if we end up getting that AMC volume like we definitely would like to see. This one, I mean, holding, it's really funny that it crawled back up onto the support, but if anything, AMC has been holding a very unusual trend line here. Sorry, whoops. So there you go, big old falling wedge here. This is its first squirt out, I guess, if you will. It's probably not the proper adjective, but you get a little pop out there here on earnings. So we'll look for continuation tomorrow above 37.75. So AMC, of course, you know, this is actual fundamental news. That's a lot of money. But I don't know, even with that, we'd have to take a look at like what the evaluation, what it would put AMC at. But just based on pure momentum after earnings, it's definitely one that we can take keep an eye on. So, alrighty, so that's pretty much it. There was a handful of other earnings that we'll probably cover tomorrow morning. Why do I have that up on my thing? Oh, sorry about that. But other than that, guys, I wanted to read this little quick article on the GNOG acquisition. So iGaming and sports betting industries have been moving up higher after two of the bigger high-profile acquisitions. Shares of Round Hill Sports Betting and iGaming ETF, which is BETZ, right? So that's basically PIN, DKNG, GNOG, all that. Moved up about 7% in the last week, ballooned by optimism surrounding PIN and DKNG. Excuse me. On Thursday, Penn Gaming made a bid to acquire sports betting platform The Score in a $2 billion deal. Penn, which owns a majority stake in Barstool Sports, and its Barstool betting app will pick a 4 million new daily active users. Many of The Score's customers are in regions where Barstool Sportsbook is not currently offered, such as Colorado, Indiana, Iowa, New Jersey, and Canada. This morning, DraftKings obviously acquiring GNOG for $1.5 billion. The company has offers iGaming in the United States, mostly through online casinos. The deal, DraftKings will bring 5 million in casino bettors into orbit. Investors were initially sold on the acquisition value add, but GNOG's CEO Tillman Ferretta insists that iGame customers are worth 7 times the value of a sports betting customer. That's a tall glass. So other than that, my main focus, guys, especially going into tomorrow, is I'm just watching tech. And I mean that from like, what is my main watch? I really am more, and I'm okay, guys, with, and this is something that I want to emphasize, I'm okay with sitting on cash, and I'm okay with using light positions in anything that's moving in correlation to said ETF. So right now, I think that the Qs, they held today, and there is the potential that we go ahead and we break this support right here, right? So we could see around 367 break. We could see a leg down maybe to the 362.50. That being said, 370, because of where our top standard deviation channel line is, there still is the possibility that we could see 371.50 or 372 for one last bounce or one last test of that resistance, which would complete a rising wedge potential reversal pattern on this 4-hour daily time frame. So that is where I'm watching. So don't doubt that the Qs may bounce. So we'll watch the Qs around 369.35 in this little zone. Of course, volume will be a big indicator, although we have seen a lot of runs up on lower volume. So we're gonna have to watch that. That being said, we did take a short position on Microsoft. So all that being said, guys, if the Qs decide that they want to bounce tomorrow, then more than likely anywhere above 289, Microsoft will see a retest. For those of you who are new traders and are not able to scalp, I would highly recommend not taking part in these type of plays until you either get a little bit better or you're off Robinhood. If you're on Robinhood and you're trying to scalp Microsoft, you're going, especially with the very small amount of price action that you have available, unless something outstanding happens and we break this resistance, which I highly doubt. But that being said, we could see Microsoft make a move to the downside, at least 286.35. I don't know what that was. Everybody okay? I don't know what that was. All right, so let's see here. Would it be smart to put money into, how's it going, Brian? Into DDD, Garrett and mixed hackers? That's awesome. I'll answer that question here in just a second. Give me one moment. What is the name of the scanners? Benzinga Pro High Day percentage gainer scanner. I made a video on my YouTube about it. Okay. So I've been getting a question here as of recently, guys. I just want to make a broad answer. if you're at the stage where you have no idea what people are talking about when they're trading, but you're asking what you should put your money into, you are setting yourself up for disaster because you're wanting the money to come before the work. So if you need help getting into a place where you can make a decision for yourself, make sure that if you're in the Discord, that we link up for some type of one-on-one. Because I want you guys to know that we are and do offer signals, but the main point behind our group is to provide people with the opportunity to figure out whether or not these plays are right for them, and then use us as like a back testing or as confirmation, as an extra level and a different perspective. Not you, Justin. I'm not talking to you right now. I'm talking to people who are in my like TikTok DMs. If you guys are those of you who have been DMing me from TikTok, Instagram, asking me like kind of those questions, specifically if you guys are looking to get in the Discord, that is our goal. So if you guys ask us that question and you want a straight answer like yes, put your money into DDD, we can't do that for you. But if you guys want to have a good reasoning why, and like with us, we'll cover those plays. But you're good, Justin. I wasn't. DDD that's a feasible question. We're gonna take a look at it here in just a second. I just got a DM on Instagram about 30 seconds ago. So you're good, man. You're new. It's all good. Let's see. All right. So besides Microsoft, guys, we have obviously a lot of tight price action. So if we go and we look at the Qs, so go over here or not the Qs, but you look at SPY, similar setup on SPY, right? So what I talked about with the Qs, with one more potential pop, we could see the same thing from SPY, and that pop could take us above 447.75, and I'm looking for the test of 443.50 at the most, maybe a leg up to 443 if and only if we see volume tomorrow. One thing to keep in mind, if you go to briefing, there it is right there. Damn it. Hold on one second. Where is my economic calendar at? Sorry guys, one second. Okay, sorry about that. So this week, I had to go pull up the economic data here really quickly. So if you look at the job reports, there it is. Or not job reports, excuse me, but economic data coming out tomorrow, still relatively low. We have productivity preliminary, and then unit labor costs, both with medium impact, those coming in before the bell. But I'm noticing that we're seeing a lack of volume going into CPI data, core CPI data, and Treasury budget, which Treasury budget is relatively low impact, but the high impact news comes at 8:30 on August 11th. And then directly after that, we have another series of high impact trading impact news on August 12th, all coming out at 8:30 in the morning. So as we approach, we're not moving up with high volume, and all we need is one bad news article, and that would, I imagine, would cause us to not dump, but correct in some manner. So until, and I'm just gonna end my analysis on the entire markets with this. Until it breaks range with volume, I'm short, and I won't be taking heavy positions to the upside until, and obviously if the market shows me otherwise, which it has before when I've become and developed some type of bias, but there's just, and I've said this before, but I'm saying this now in a sense where there is nothing to move the market's cues. Test, like the earnings has already come and gone, and I just don't see a catalyst to move it up. We've talked about the channel that the cues are within. We've talked about all those things. So IPA. If you guys, I will cover all of those questions if you guys hop in here where you guys can actually see my screen. All right, so we got major ETFs, guys. Are going into tomorrow. I'm gonna cover a golden sweep that came into our chat. Those of you who are not in our chat, we have basically Flow comes into our chat. We have golden sweep, Scout Bot, Sniper, which is basically like an AI. Silver sweeps, which is just large sweep orders, which we also had, by the way, at the end of the day. AMC $35 strike for $827 right towards the end of the day. So big call order coming in there. Let's see. Yeah, just double checking that. IWM puts as well. Coming in for the 215 strike. But anyway, so TTWO coming in as a golden sweep. And I want to do this because, one, I took this call and I'm going to be taking more of the calls that come in through the golden sweeps and the AI. It did signal mRNA twice today for the 410 strike at, I believe, somewhere around 1 o'clock, 1:37. And then all the way until 2:40. So it actually gave you 3 separate entries on mRNA. But TTWO got a sweep for the 9/17/170 call strike. And I went ahead and wanting to be able to utilize said bot and make sure that I'm not blindly jumping into a play, I want to go and identify what it is that could possibly end up moving this stock up such a decent range in a short amount of time. So the first thing here, and I just messed that up. Okay, so the first thing here that you guys will probably notice is that we're in a channel. And one of the things that I was watching and looking at when I saw this sweep come in was the fact that we have, and maybe here, but we have a very large gap. And that gap runs all the way from 163 up into the 173 range. Now you'll notice that when TTWO runs, it covers ground relatively quickly. And then when it hits its resistance, it tends to flatline. That being said, we have earnings that just came. We dropped on earnings, and we have bottomed out on that channel resistance there. I am expecting above, and I did take this call already, but I am expecting above 163 to break into that gap with the first initial day trading target of 165. We're going to take this piece by piece because this trade could go, it could take its time, and we're long on it for a reason. So the first initial test I see is 167.50. That's the bottom right here where we initially rejected or bounced off of before we gapped down. Obviously, anytime we break a level, there's the potential of retesting it, but I'm countering or factoring that into this initial move. But on TTW, I think that even if we end up running and pushing, just tapping above that resistance, if that gap gets filled and we don't gap and reject, and we gap and go, pushing above that level, I think the 175 level, there is the potential that we could see TTW break a downtrend that it has been in for quite some time. Now, on the contrary, this obviously looks like a very large head and shoulders on the weekly. But that being said, a lot of the times until the entirety of the market starts to pull back, you'll see certain stocks trade in range. And I also want to point out that daily head and shoulders are not as high probability as most people think they are. There is some that we've seen play out. You have the head and shoulders here on JMIA, but I wouldn't really call this neckline a flush. In fact, when you finally break the neckline, you take 2 candlesticks down on the daily that ranges from 27.75 from 32, not a crazy range, and then you just basically make a reversal pattern. So daily head and shoulders are not always to be trusted as for sure reversal patterns. But TTWO 170 strike for 917 does look good on a technical basis for a potential gap fill into and around 173. So that is one that we're going to be eyeing and watching every day. The price action here towards the end of the day was less than pretty, and I will take a short expiration put contract below 160, right? So below this 160 mark. If we break 160, I'll likely take that one short. If we don't get a bounce at 159.73, guys, we are long for a reason. So I will play this one as it comes. We'll be paying close attention to the volume, but I do think that if we pulled back, maybe we get another triple bottom, but I see upside and a potential gap fill here for sure. So how do we set up? Oh, that's not mine. Brian G and Adrian Bottatello, I'll write that down. We'll check out IPA here in just a second. Yes, you need to have the economic calendar saved if you're a trader or you don't have anything. This is literally your lifeblood. You need to know what this is. This is the calendar of things that move markets. Especially right now, very much so. Very much so is this very important to keep in mind. So, all right, guys, TTWO, English Garrett is what we're watching. I did grab Microsoft puts, guys, and this is a extremely risky entry. Those of you who have the capital to risk, if you guys took this one with me, 186.75 has got to get broken, and we could see 284. So if you guys grab that, I'll look if we break that 287 mark. But one of the things I want to bring to your attention as well, and let me go back out. Where's the 4 hour? Is that almost every single whole ribbon indicator or moving average indicator is above the stock. So that is a very bearish sign. Almost all of these said stocks are overbought. As you can see here on Microsoft, you can see how it behaves in previous moves up. I don't think that Microsoft goes all the way back to 270, but its distance from this deviation channel could spell further downside. But we're playing short right now, and we have no catalyst to the downside at the moment. So let's see. But other than that, we are I haven't had a whole time to just dig into my own playlist today. Yesterday, it's just been an absolutely crazy day. I've been installing bots, one-on-ones, hiring people to help me make stuff for YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and trying to help them help me. So I apologize that I only have two on my watch list at the moment. There's a couple stocks that I'm watching speculatively. We already talked about MaxR, and honestly this one hasn't made a substantial move in either direction. It's just sitting there. I was watching CAT today. Again, Dow not letting anything move, everything sitting relatively flat. mRNA, I got asked several times about this one, and the only thing that I could offer people was the opportunity to potentially short the stock. But other than that, as long as momentum remains strong within Moderna and Pfizer, I can only imagine that we're going to see consolidation at these levels. And we'll have to watch as volume dissipates, because if you look out on Moderna, we have just hit that basically high in volume. So yeah, AMD is a good one. If you guys have requests, you guys need to head in here. Link is in my bio, and I'll take it there. There are a few other speculative ones that I'm going to be watching. Fisker, with an incredibly strong move today up into the $17 range, sitting at $14 in pre-market this morning, guys. We saw Neo Golden Sweep, so this is just yet another call that we've seen are bought. Neo. I did see Lee make a small move to the upside, but unfortunately China FUD seems like it's heavy on that one, just not seeing correlating movement. But we did see Neo pop here today. We did see Workhorse and Fisker moving up here in after hours as well. Fisker absolutely ripped. So this one is another one that I'll have on watch tomorrow for sure, based off of EV. And then one last one that has always caught my eye is 3D Systems. Now, a lot of people, I think Justin, you asked me about 3D and whether or not, if you should put your money in it after it goes up 4%. And the question that we got to ask ourselves is, can it? And more than likely, the way that we'll find that out is evaluating volume. DDD, when it decides to move and decides it's going to be in an uptrend, will make very, very strong moves to the upside and then very, very quick reversals to the downside. And you can see that cyclically, so it's not the best swing trading stock. Best software? I like TradingView, personally. But anyway, so 3D Systems, guys, very, very choppy if you're not long on this one, but I do see the potential for a break above basically 32.50. Above 32.50, and DDD could see anywhere in between the $35 to $36 range in a couple of days. But seeing that we did finish earnings up against resistance, there's also the possibility that this completely reverses right in people's face or breaks up, makes a high here, and utilizes this downtrend as a support to make a cup and handle. So what that would potentially look like is a wick up here and then a pullback, and then utilizing these supports, you could make a cup and handle. Of course, that's only speculative. I can only imagine, but yeah. So, all right, let's go ahead, and I will have a more intensive watch list tomorrow. Roblox, guys, did hold up. I will say that before I move on. I missed this play. I signaled this play and I cut this play because it wasn't moving, and it had basically reversed and what looked to be a pretty intense rejection off of that resistance, but was held up by that 77.83 support. So I will be watching Roblox for potential continuation, but this big of a move in one day, Roblox is likely to see some consolidation before it takes another leg up. I know I said I was done, but I have a few more that I forgot to bring up. Blink is the last one. So I actually took a call on Blink for a potential run to the channel top. That top of the channel is around $38. I'm thinking that tomorrow we see a little dip and we make an hourly inverse head and shoulders above 36, 75. I am watching Blink to the upside with a. All right, I need to go up, upgrade my service. I'll do that after live. But 36.55 would be where I would be watching Blink to the upside. So, all right, let's go ahead and we'll get to your guys' request. Tommy dropped the Apple ticker in here for us to look at, and of course, I've got this one wrapped up in a pennant at the moment. So pulling this over here and pulling this over here. I want to kind of bring up exactly what we're seeing here as far as price action is concerned. So in my opinion, looking at Apple and really the way that SPY moved today as well, I see this as a retest. So this is the hourly time frame on Apple. You're in a tight pennant at the moment. What you had happen today was you actually broke that pivot support, and you traded flat pre-market, or excuse me, Friday. You traded flat into pre-market. Your initial, and I want you guys to remember this setup because it happens a lot, and it goes back to the rule that I talk about. Usually when you break a level, you're gonna go retest it, and that's exactly what you saw happen on Apple today. So not only did we retest a linear level, we retested our dynamic support. Dynamic just means moving, or in motion, and it's not following, linear or horizontal. It's dynamic. So here you get a retest of that dynamic support and psychological and linear support of 146.50. That's how you get faked out, right? Because I'm sorry, if you're new, remember this: if you're looking at a stock that looks like this, just because it's tight doesn't mean that you should play it immediately. Set levels, barriers. What price does this have to break in order to make lower lows or higher highs? Here on Apple, the upside, 148. Keep it simple. Here to the downside, at least this 146.67 or 65, and then 145.25. And of course, you have the more of a range here on Apple. You could even say this range for Apple stretches from 146 all the way down here to 144, and you could see a lot of chop here. The movement right now, guys, is hard to trade. So just know that if you had a hard time today trading, you're not alone, and you're not the only person who didn't make money or failed to make money today. And if you guys cut your contracts or cut your positions for minimal losses, that's a win. That is a win. If you have a $5,000 account and you lost $60 today, feel good about the fact that you can start tomorrow without a demoralizing loss. I use this example with Snee. We did a one-on-one. So we're going to work, right? We're the boss. You're the boss of your trading day. If the working conditions aren't correct, you don't have to work. You're the boss. Go home. And in this case, the working conditions are not in our favor. They're unsafe or hazardous to our accounts. And due to that, we're going to watch and we're going to wait for the conditions to pass. Or we're going to wait for our prerequisites to be met in order to take trades, which means that the hardest thing that traders can have to deal with is the not trading thing. And here's the deal. There is always going to be a stock that runs regardless. And if that is what brings you to the desk, then if you're just expecting to find it and catch it, it's just not going to work like that every time. If it does, you've got some fucking awesome luck. But all in all, if you don't like the conditions or the price range that the Qs are in, it's pretty simple to set a range and say, okay, the Qs in between Apple in between 150 and 145 is miserable trading conditions, because you just can't catch a break. I mean, yes, looking back in retrospect makes everything easier, but could you imagine trading Apple here after a complete pullback, and then the next day you deadpan reverse, go to 149, and then fall and dump all the way to 143.63? That's not easy to trade in, right? I'd much rather trade here where I can bank on at least retest of the very same levels that we broke. I can at least watch the hourly or watch certain time frames and set alerts. But again, tight price action, guys. You're the boss. If you don't like the working conditions, if they seem unfair, go home and practice, guys. You guys have to practice not trading, because I know that every day doesn't provide an opportunity. And I guarantee you, if you're doing what you should and writing down your trades and writing down maybe even your mindset and what you did see, you'll go back and you'll see something you didn't. Or you'll see, man, I should have just sat out. Why did I even trade today? Why did I trade today? Because I mean, a lot of us traded against big red candle or big reversal candles. I know snow was an absolute pain in the ass for everybody who tried to trade it today. And that was just a testament to the low volume and low conviction that is coming from the tech market at the moment. So can you do tea? I'm doing it. Iron Condor. I'm curious of your opinion. Sure, I'll take a look at it. Let's see here. Yeah, Pierre, I will do that one. Zytos. What do you think of new to take to the upside, Fredo? We'll take a look at it. We actually traded NIU today, so net looks like it's breaking out. We'll take a look at that one as well. But let's see. So Zytos, I don't really know if I've ever averaged it in, but I would say that I at least have a red day or a flat day once a week. But it doesn't really, and here's the thing, this is why trade winning ratios are no bueno. You can say that I win 99% of the time and have that stock move 50 cents and you still picked a winner. What matters is whether your red days are small or your red days are big. So do you hold your red days too long, or do you hold your red positions too long, or do you know where your stop loss is before you get in the trade and you can cut it and be out? So all right, so let's look at we've got Apple, we've got DDD, and we've got IPA. Well, I kind of already covered DDD. I just remembered that. Yeah, so DDD, broken down trend here. That's what you're looking for. RSI is screaming, so likely going to see some type of pullback, at least up into this level of 33.81, somewhere in that nature, or somewhere in that range. So a breakout past 32.55, again, maybe 32.28, or this $34 level. But good earnings. We'll take a deeper look in that tomorrow. So IPA. No, I thought this was going to be alcohol related. Okay, so again, this is one of those ones that is very clearly traded off of momentum, and there's not much that I can do other than set supports and potential resistances. So far, and it looks like I actually charted this at some point in the past. Let's see here. So this is biopharmaceutical. I'm assuming in that sector, you get a pop before earnings. But I'm going to be honest with you. When people ask me to take a look at these charts, the charts, not the companies, but the charts, it's not easy to try and chart something with crazy highs like this. You can get like a median resistance, or like go with a smaller time frame downtrend or something like that. You could say that maybe potentially we see IPA reversing out of this, and in fact that it does. But at the moment right now, you've got a large pump all the way up to 1650 and a pullback all the way to 835, 860, and then a pop. So clearly this is running off of some type of news, and that's not something that I can predict with the chart. It just seems like the movements are very erratic and spontaneous. So yeah, any requests in here? Right, IPA, net, John. Yep, for sure. BT, I'll cover that one next. Sorry about that. Just had to switch mics. There we go. Okay, so T. Sorry about that one. I didn't mean to skip T. So T, you have an iron condor set up on this one right now. Let's go and look at the weekly first, yeah? So let's go ahead and set some major supports. This is, I think T has good dividends, right? If I'm not mistaken. I believe their dividends are pretty good. But god dog, boy, this thing, it trades like no other. I honestly don't see it moving anytime soon. It looks very much range bound. I think right here you have a pretty reliable downtrend. Yeah, I think that is not too far off. So in fact, yep, check that out. So you got a nice channel here for AT&T to roll into. So you could see a little move up here, or even a potential retest of 2750. So you could see a little another leg down. Come back here, little shit. So you could see a push down here, and then maybe a run up here. But this is in a nice channel, so it should be relatively easy to track. As far as where, as long as it stays in this channel, rather. So watch this one to the upside, and by upside, I mean potentially just trading flat. Excuse me, sorry, the yawn got me. But 2840 would be that level that I would suspect that AT&T could probably get stopped out at. You have a lot of gaps, but again, the AT&T, I don't know if you guys ever really looked at the chart. It's just wet hot dog water. It's the worst thing ever. I don't trade it ever at all. If you guys have dividends on it, I know it's a good dividend company, and perhaps an iron condor at this level. It looks like it's holding a similar trend as it was back in July. So maybe just kind of look at that for as an example. Eventually that gap will get filled, as it did here, but it's going to take its time. So yes, I will look right here. Make sure to type it in the chat and I'll answer that question. Okay, so let's see. John, net. I like that setup, you human scanner. So net, yep, nice breakout. You held that new high here. Rising volume after earnings, not too shabby. Looks like you finished the day. Let's see. Oh my God, anybody trade that one candle? Yikes. Yuck. Well, you ended the day with a somewhat of a bear flag, or bull flag here, holding new highs. You already got a retest of the very same level that you broke out of. Sorry guys, I hate when I yawn like incessantly every night at the same exact time. But anyway, so Cloudflare, John, looks like it's also holding this support here. As you can see, so holding this nice support level here, backed up by this wick there. We got a little bit of a correction here. That's pre-market trading, and then bouncing off of this level here. So definitely probable above 125.50, which is that psychological number. But don't be surprised, John, if you see further consolidation at this high. So it could be in this space where we see net continue to consolidate. Volume, yes, is good, but it needs to see more. So let's go down to the end of the 15-minute. So yeah, you can see once I pull this line down here, you can tell that these bodies in that wick, they line up. So anywhere above 125 into 125.50 with hopefully higher than average volume than we saw today. Alrighty. I gotta go do that once I get off live. Okay, so Airbnb, your yawns no longer affect me. It's actually, you know what this is? This is a double. It doubles as a nighttime like sleep, you know, as well as educational. It's an educational ASMR good nighttime stock talk. I'm just gonna yawn until you guys go to sleep. That doesn't make good user retention. Anyway, so Airbnb. So Airbnb, guys, this one actually kind of a pain in the ass, but this is holding support as of today. We're seeing a lot of stocks line up this way. You can see pulling off of the lows in July, running up. This has been a well-respected support. So further consolidation is likely needed. You could see one more tap of around 148, 149, and then a potential retest of 150. Now, whether or not you break 150 is likely on earnings. Earnings is Friday, I believe, before the bell. So our verdict will come out before then. And I'm still holding up a longer position on that one that I may end up cutting. So anyway, volume also. Earnings is coming up, man. And I mean, it's very, very pent up. I think that if it stays closed down, that we could probably expect a pop into earnings. So you have a massive double bottom here on the daily. So that would seem highly likely. All right. Ooh. All right. Jackson, yeah, absolutely. We'll take a look at that in just a second. So net NUE. Is anybody in new? So you guys can't see. I don't know if anybody is in new. At 2:38, taking a new 110 call above 108 was my signal. This one, come back here. I think right at the bell, we tapped that 108 level just barely. I actually held on to the original entry. If anybody traded with us today, I played new core up to the upside at around, I think it was around 105, 106. And that went in the money pretty well, hitting that 108.70. And here in pre-market, guys, it looks like Nucor is going for that previous high. Nucor is actually on my list tomorrow. I need to write that down because I'm not quite sure why I didn't cover that. One day I'll be able to hold on to a pen. Here we go. Okay. I just went over Apple if you'd like to look at the YouTube channel. Okay, all right, we're gonna start wrapping things up. Let's see, WPG. Yeah, we'll take a look at that one, guys. We're gonna hurry up. Whatever's in the chat now, we are going to take a look at it and leave it there. Okay, so we got new. I like new, and I like new to the upside tomorrow. With continued volume like we saw today, so nice strong push. That target is going to be around 110. All right, so tomorrow 110 at tops, 112 on the dot as a new all-time high. So we're going to be watching that one. Go to the 15-minute time frame, set an alert at that 109 pre-market high. If we gap down, I keep remembering I can't do that. If we gap down, we'll gap down to 107. If that gap down occurs, we could have a little tiny gap here, pop, break that gap, and hopefully make a new high. Or we gap up and we end up playing the gap fill to the downside. But new does look good if we have a positive day in the market, guys. Let me say one last thing about the market and about going tomorrow. I can't tell you whether or not tomorrow's the day that everything does that we thought it does. Technical analysis and all the things that we're doing right now is in preparation that it does. But the first thing that you should have on your mind is a plan on if it doesn't. Guys, I want you to know I don't know if maybe we can have a workshop on how, like, other things that you can do outside of trading, or paper trading until you curb your appetite. But I will say, if you have a small account, it is incredibly frustrating to build up an account or to take a trade, especially if it's expensive or it's a little bit pricier, to take a trade and have it not play out and know that you have to cut it for a loss, and that's it. That's the end of your day. You can't trade anymore because your PDT or whatever the case may be. Most people have the hardest time with that, and they don't even know it until they look back and they're like, holy shit. It's okay to not trade. It's okay to walk away with a small account L that is really, really small. I think I'm going to help. Justin's busy right now, so I think I'm going to take over or just temporarily slide into the small account challenge and see what I can't do. But with all of that being said, guys, it is totally okay to wait for this, for the stock, for the Qs, for Microsoft, for all of these companies that you guys want to trade, to figure out where the hell they're going, because this is a very pivotal and very tough spot to be in, with the market being so pent up, so tight, just had earnings, just had all of the catalysts we would hope that would help it send it higher, and it didn't do so. We are continuing to chop. We're continuing to have low price action. We saw our major ETFs run up on earnings on low volume, and this is the consequence of that. So paper trade if you have to. If you want to, you guys, those of you who are not in the Discord, if you guys are in the Discord, I have a prize for you too. Go on Webull, go on TOS, set up a paper trading account for $10,000. Paper trade it, get it to 15K, get it to 20K, and we'll figure out either a t-shirt or something of that nature, or maybe a mentorship with me, Atlas, and another admin all at once. That way we can, really, whatever the case may be. I want to encourage you guys to utilize the tools that are in your arsenal, and that includes a pacifier. That's okay. We all need that sometimes. We're all big babies doing different stuff, and we need a pacifier. I'm just kidding. But if you guys having trouble trading or not trading, and you find yourself at the desk and you find yourself pulling the trigger on stuff that there's no reason to pull the trigger on, then it's time to find some type of pacifier, some type of chew toy to get your mind off of the market. I'm sorry I'm using dog and baby analogies, but that is all my life is. So what would be your sign to take new to the upside? Would it be too late by the time you wait for confirmation, since it's only going to 110 or 112? Let's take a look. I'll look at those as well. I'm not done yet, guys. So new core, my sign to take it to the upside. So let's look at the hourly chart here. So my sign to take it to the upside would obviously be determined on pre-market. So let's say that this is today, okay? Pretend this isn't here. My pre-market levels, and I can actually do this for you. So let's do a little replay action, okay? Let's start it here. All right, now this doesn't exist. Let's slow the speed down just a little bit. So, all right, so this is the night before. This is Friday, Sunday evening, and we're looking at new core, and we're looking at where did it reject, okay? So this is the level that it rejected, right around 104, right up to 105, okay? It's a psychological number. We see what happens there. We see it has low volume. So we know that anywhere above this rejection point of 105, that we could see continuation at least to that previous high of 106. That would be the plan here. Why would we even look at it or consider it? Is because of the bounce off of 101 or the $100 level, where we got a nice strong push. You can see in one day you go up from 102 and you ride all the way to 105 for a nice gain, holding that whole ribbon indicator. You could even go to the daily before this actually plays out as well, and you can see that we're holding this level quite well, and we're looking for continuation from here. So you're setting that level in preparation for that breakout. So I'm just using this as an example. Not only that, you have a daily support that we bounce off as well. So now we open up. Okay, so pre-market happens, and we open up. Let's see here. So go ahead and close that day. All right, so we're gonna open up here. Pre-market opens for Nucor immediately, and that went a little bit faster than it was supposed to. Let's go ahead and let's rewind that a little bit more. Sorry about that. All right, so going back here, I apologize for that. So this is that Friday afternoon. Let's go ahead and we'll press play. All right. So here's that level. Here's pre-market. Okay, so here's our entry, right? So let's pause it. Right there. Perfect. So our first entry, right? The first place that we're going to be looking for is above 105, right? That's right around where we took that trade. We see we got decent volume. Not only do we have decent volume, but the initial volume isn't great, but we get a second volume pop. Now, Nucor doesn't have insane volume. You can go back and look historically. It doesn't take a whole lot to get the stock moving. And with that being said, you see right at that 105 break, we go and we head into this little pre-market gap here, with the target usually always being the previous rejection point. So right around here, that's 106.50. So that's a reasonable target, right? We're keeping it simple because where did we get rejected at? Where did we bounce at? That's our new range. So if we break into this range, it's like Red Rover, all right? We just sent some skinny kid to go run into the 106, and we're gonna see if we threw him hard enough. And that's obviously usually evaluated by volume. So, boom, bada bing. Obviously, it's not always as easy as it seems, but you get a nice clean break. This is where you would obviously take profit on the majority of your position and let those run risk-free. But in this case, looking into tomorrow, hurry up, please. That's pretty cool to watch, though. Gets your ADHD going. So going into tomorrow, Nucor may see a retest, but honestly, it's always usually pre-market highs. So orb, right? Pre-market highs, or if you're looking at the downside, pre-market lows. Pre-market Nucor opens up, gapped down. I'll tell you what, guys, I much prefer a stock to gap up or gap down than gap up. You're going to get a stronger pop off of a gap up or gap down, because it's almost like the stock has to get rolling, right? And by the time it gets rolling, it hits that gap fill, and if it's close enough and the momentum is right, you usually will punch it right through it. Whereas rather than getting a gap up, where we could see a potential gap fill or just some stupid volatility and choppiness that we don't like for our contracts, like we see here, same thing. So my entry tomorrow would be depending on where we open up. So if we open up anywhere around here, we would just be watching it above this pre-market highs. If we gapped up above it, we would obviously be waiting to take an entry until that gap gets filled or we see a feasible bounce. And that's only something that we can do as it comes. I can't predict the exact movement. So hopefully that makes, Shinobi, I didn't play MSTR, but we had some other runners that kind of move in sympathy of that one. But yeah, man, I appreciate that. We threw that one out to a couple people, I think. So just comment on both of them. All right, so Nucor, we got that one handled. Let's go to AMD. Fredo, no problem. Oh my God, that's cute. Anakin Potter, thank you. Thank you. That's That's a new one. Thank you. Okay. No problem. Yeah, I got you, Jackson. I'm coming. I'm going down the list. I got AMD, ORMP, and then I got VNE right there after that. So I'm coming. All right. AMD. Okay, so we talked a lot about this one today because we had some people shorting AMD. Obviously, not a terrible position to take today. We saw AMD pop up this morning. We thought we might see that resistance break here, but what I think I actually missed here on AMD was the wick being out of play. So going down, if you pull this down, you'll see that the range is a little bit tighter than I had anticipated. And I kind of drew that pattern off a little bit, but it happens to the best of us. So very, 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 very heavily consolidated here in this little bitty itty tiny range. Definitely room to the downside, but anytime I see a wedge or a falling wedge like this, it's honestly sometimes more of a reversal sign. And I think one thing is important to take a look at is our correlating ETF. Is our correlating ETF in a downtrend or any type of bearish trend? Maybe it's small downtrend, but not really anything. This is more profit taking, it seems like, and seems well controlled. You're staying in this nice price, or this zone of 167.50 and this zone of 170. So as long as we hold here, I would be waiting for more upside rather than downside. But this also has everything to do with the market and nothing to do with what I think. This has to do with obviously if the Qs pull back, SPY pulls back, we don't see any continuation, then maybe we see the semiconductor kind of bleed with it. So anything that would make all of our correlating ETFs go down, you may see similar movement. But if we end up getting a bounce, we've talked about the potential, because that's the thing, guys. We don't come at the day with any type of bias. We come at the day with a plan for both sides of the coin, especially if it's a stock that we play. If it's Microsoft or Apple, or I don't play JME or GRWG that much anymore, but you know, back in the day, same thing. I would have had a plan, and I think those of you who have been following me on TradingView from day one, I have a plan for both. Because, and I think that's one of the good things about like having ADHD is I can't focus on shit that just isn't going to work for me. And I will literally just be like, I'm done. Like I just can't, I can't put my attention. And sometimes that doesn't play out in my favor. You guys have literally seen me be like, oh shit, and then look at it and it's gone, you know? But at the same time, I'm okay with, I would much rather miss out on a play and cut it and not lose anything than sit and watch my position bleed hoping that it will go up. But anyway, as far as AMD is concerned and looking at our major ETF, we're holding up well. And so looking at AMD, we're holding up as well. I honestly am expecting a bounce. I don't, in my gut right now, I see past 107.65, or excuse me, 109.55. I see a, fuck, I keep doing that. I need to go upgrade this thing. I switched debit cards and I forgot to update it. 112.32. Anywhere above 112.32, that's that hourly to whole ribbon indicator. I like when it makes dead like these stops. So you'll notice, guys, if I was to draw a line exactly where these whole ribbon indicator flat lines are, they usually end up always at major resistances. They actually help me mark them quite often and will give me potential second entries. So let's say AMD runs up anywhere past 119.33 and I can potentially add to that position. And I usually like to see you guys, God, what was the stock? It was so long ago. I think it was back when Baidu, I think we were on live and somebody asked me, they're like, how did you do that? And it was a 1 5-minute candle that I scalped 2 times. I scalped it when it popped, I took profit and got right back in on the same 5-minute candle. And I used that whole ribbon indicator as that, I knew that it was going to retest it multiple times. And I was using the 1 minute as well. But I would like to see AMD hit 112.13 and make a move to the upside. Obviously with the strength behind it coming from its correlating ETF. So right, AMD. One of my best friends is named Fredo here in Savannah. Okay, so ORMP, Nick. I got you. ORMP. Why do I have this charted? Why does every ticker have a line on it? Do y'all notice this? This is crazy. I don't even know. I was about to say I don't even think I've ever heard of this, and then I got a line on it. You're a liar. Okay. So not too shabby there. I don't know, dude. You're in price exploratory mode, so the daily is out of the question here. It looks like, looking at post market, that there's still strength here. This is your, now let me point something out that I've noticed and has been pointed out to me. I've learned it over the years. ORMP or any stock in that general, or in that in general, that is seeing high volume or a lot of price action volume as it approaches new highs or makes its way into new highs. Sometimes the highest volume day, and you can't always, so let's go look at AMD. I know it's a weird example, but let's go set this line on the top of every single day's volume candle. Okay. Now tell me what you guys notice about this volume and where things move, right? High volume is what we like, right? But it can also be sign of profit taking, because the most shares are likely going to be exchanged at the top, because you've got a mass of sellers and you've got retail chasing. That being said, I mean, everybody from down here, and I mean everybody, because anybody who, we have somebody here who bought AMD at $11 and they're still not cutting it, but you know, everybody who held in this range when AMD wouldn't let anybody have jack shit from it, is now probably looking to take profit or trim, and a lot of the times you'll see a high volume spike. So that being said, if you look at RRMP, it's the same thing here, where you're getting that kind of larger volume spike than you're used to. That volume spike usually is right around here. But then again, I'm not quite sure exactly what caused this movement. Obviously something pharmaceutical, obviously something probably an approval of some type of drug, but without having that information, I can only use technical analysis. And I would say that, you know, just using simple support and potential resistance, you have the $22 mark that you could end up consolidating in. This could end up being a little pocket that you consolidate in as you go and so let's go pull our 9-day moving average is holding there, and then our EMAs. So our EMAs are giving us time here to catch up as well. So 9-day moving average here, 20-day EMA coming up behind it. That could push this up towards new highs, but it would be important for me to know exactly what is happening here. This could be just the beginning of the volume going forward. So this just could be the first bump as it continues up into higher highs. I see that it has earnings back here. That looks like it was green. Yeah, I'm not really sure. I don't know anything about this company. So, but anyway, I would suspect that if it doesn't make it up past $22, that you can expect some consolidation in this range. Bro, my cat is snoring. Hey. Thank you. Anyway, so yes. Oh, sorry, I just saw that message. I'm taking your advice, dude, and I'm about to shut it down here. It's 9:45. I gotta go to bed. Tomorrow. Hit me up tomorrow. It's tied in with COVID. I was gonna say it's got to be something of that nature. So, it looks good though. Honestly, looking at the volume, looking at the RSI, looking at the MACD, above 22 it looks good, but I'm gonna guess that you utilize this price range to consolidate at a minimum. You kind of need a little bit of a pullback. So But again, if this is news that has to do with COVID, then I could be completely wrong, and that one can completely just keep fucking ripping. So, all right, let's see here. VNE. Holy shit, my guy. Veoneer. I feel like I heard about this a long time ago. I don't have any lines on it. Wow. So weekly, you got a cup and handle breakout. That's what you got going on here. Look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful cup and handle. Wow. I would venture to guess. I mean, I don't know what the hell's going on here on the daily. I mean, this is pretty crazy. And you're saying you're looking at this what? Are you looking at this short or long? Jackson? What would you... I don't like when certain things have gaps that are that big. Is that coffee? Okay.
But I do have.
I don't like those. I bought those for you. Okay. Puts for the gap. Okay, Jackson, you got the right mindset here. Yeah, so gap fill all the way to $33, my guy. I have no idea what the hell's going on. I mean, you got a massive amount of gap ups here. Looking at the 15, chill out. Looking at the 15, I would say below 37.32, and then probably down to this. I like to use my EMAs on lower time frames as liquid moving supports. So I'm venturing to guess that you will see another leg down. Not good eyes there. Let's see. Let me make sure we don't have any gaps. So you got gaps above. You've got gaps below. Give me a little bit more information on what this what they do. Okay, never mind. Oh, Veoneer to enter acquisition talks with Qualcomm. Veoneer said that on Monday its board has determined that an acquisition offer made by Qualcomm last week may be considered as a superior proposal as it prepares talks with the chip maker. Last week offered to acquire at $37 a share. Okay. All right, so pause, rewind, be careful. Here's the deal. Let's go look at Xilinx. Wait, hold on. XL and X. There it is. It's been a while. Okay, so let's go to the daily. Where was this news? Hold on one second. All right, well, I'm trying to find it. But a while back, we were watching AMD. And AMD acquired Xilinx, and a similar thing happened here. Now, it took weeks of Xilinx. I think it might be somewhere around here. I'd have to go and check the date. But once that acquisition occurred, let's see, or was talked about, we saw a similar gap up. As the talks continued going forward, the stock stayed in range, right? So look at V&E, and I mean, first of all, wow, like talk about the chart setting up the news. But if you go to the daily here, or excuse me, go to the 4 hour here, our moving averages are still holding us up. I'm not seeing any real weakness quite yet. And honestly, as long as this news kind of stays up in the air, and the 37 is the acquisition price potentially, it may stay there. So you're taking a short position on something that is meant to get acquired at a specific price. So I would just say be careful. Yes, gaps are tempting, but look at UPS, right? And this is why I tell people UPS has a massive gap. I mean, everybody wants to short this. I want to short it. I want to short it tomorrow. I want to short it in a train. I want to short it all the time. I want to short this gap because it's a $10 gap, and I'd like to take it to the upside. It doesn't matter. Pick a gap, I'll take it. but it is literally, since it's gapped down here and since earnings, we know that with earnings, a lot of times we trade like shit for a couple of weeks or a week or two. So same kind of situation there, just different news source. So VNE, I would imagine you, if anything, taper, right? So gently pull back as long as these acquisition talks continue. Now, another thing to take note of is this is a daily candle and it's a compression candle. What does that mean? It's just really compressed. The price action is compressed. The body of the candle is compressed. That means that there's nobody taking it up. There's nobody taking it down. And that means that it needs a catalyst in order to do either or. You can see here that it actually starts moving to the downside at 37.50 and in post-market gaps up immediately back up to that previous high. So my words of wisdom in this sense would be careful and don't be extremely biased on this. If it decides to go back up and hit 38.70, it could do that tomorrow. There's a smaller gap on that side, so be careful right now because this isn't your usual gap. Hopefully that was an over explanation. Nick, thank you. That's really sweet, dude. I appreciate that, man. Yes, I can look at Z. Yeah, we got you. WPG is coming up next, though. Adam actually brings up a really good point. He just said this about 30 minutes ago because I'm the worst. Manny's message. But holding cash is still a position in the market. Okay? There are days that you will lose money. Okay? And if you can learn how to just avoid those days, and you know how you do that, take historical data. Do you know that even snipers take they write down previous engagement data? That means that they go and look back before they snipe somebody. They go look back at previous engagement data to see how things worked out, dialing, tuning, scopes, etc., etc. You got to look at it the same way. Be a sniper out here, all right? You need to look for that. You need to look at your data. What have you done in the past, and what is your highest probability setup? Is your highest probability setup selling calls? Then sure, this is the perfect market for you. Is your you know, it all depends. You know, if you need high volume because you're scalping and you need a lot of liquidity, then maybe you wait for those type of days when you aren't trading so close in range like you were today. Okay, WPG. I know I'm ranting a whole lot. ZWPG. So WPG, Washington Prime Group. That's where I got a Washington's driver's license that everybody looks at funny when I go and get carded, like today. Yeah, well the Washington one, the ID number is like your last name, so it's like it's not your last name. Don't try and steal my identity, but it's like a combination of other things, and it's weird. Okay, so Washington Prime Group. Ouch. You're gonna have to tell me what happened here, dude. I feel like this is like after in game. Like, what happened here, dude? What did they do? This is not. It's not looking super prime. Oh, we're split. We split. Okay, 1-9 split. Okay, I was gonna say what happened here. 191. Jesus. So pretty much since the inception of this stock, it has been in a downtrend. Boy, this thing looks like crap. I'm trying to see if I can see anything positive here. So extremely long downtrend since forever. Honestly, man, I don't know enough about them, but it's holding the 150 support. You've had pops up to the 200-day EMA, so I would set an alert on the daily 200-day EMA right there. You can set it. I would set that there. because honestly, until the stock gets up to that level, I don't know exactly what this company does. I don't know anything about this. I see a bunch of lawsuits here on the right side of my screen, and I'm just seeing the word lawsuits, and I'm seeing a stock that has parabolically stayed in a downtrend for quite some time. You did have a random push up here to $7, but if somebody showed me this as a potential investment opportunity, I'd just say no immediately, without knowing any, like just looking at the chart. So I would have to know a little bit more about the company. In this case, normally I can look at the chart and just give you the analysis, but you're at a bottom. You're at a new bottom. So almost this is price exploration to the downside. So you need a bounce just as badly or you need volume, you need a bounce, you need all of that stuff. This is a pump and dump. If anything here, you get a pump, you get a dump, and it just sits here low. So these are kind of those charts that, I want to offer some type of value, but I don't see it quite yet. I mean, I could even take this right here and tell you that, WPG at a minimum, as long as it holds this support, could see a break and downtrend, but that would probably take some type of news catalyst. So again, not quite too sure what exactly these guys are, what they got going on. So earnings after market, I'm in on puts on WPG. I tell you what, I don't know if it's going to go much lower. I don't even know if it's going to go anywhere. I think 255 to the upside. Watch it past there. There's a micro gap at 433. And I mean, honestly, at the lows that it's at, I don't know exactly. I mean, you see big pops of volume here. So honestly, I don't. If it goes and breaks a low tomorrow, then yes, you could fall. I think this shit could go to 50 cents. But again, I don't know what they do or what they did. Even if they did have a split, that doesn't explain why the hell they've dropped so far so long. I mean, they've been in a downtrend since like the first 15-minute candle. So all right, and then Jay, we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead, I just had that massive move. I'm gonna go ahead and do Piton here. Oh yeah, by the way, yes, this is the right stream for the Discord, sorry. All right, so let's take a look at Piton. Just 1 second.
It's 10 o'clock.
Yes, it is. So I think this is playing out as a double top. The price action here is a little bizarre. You've got this channel that you're trading in kind of crazily. I will admit the price action within this channel is quite intense. It looks like you may see 109.50. after today's run, I mean, like I said, this channel trading action is insanity, and I feel sorry for anybody who's tried to scalp this, except for there, and everywhere else here is just awful. I wouldn't touch Piton or look at a position until at a minimum of 122 as far as a long. 120 maybe, but right now you did get a bounce, a decently strong bounce, just like all the other ones, so this isn't out of the ordinary, but you did get a bounce off of the bottom channel of support, so naturally the only inclination I have is to head up to the top, and that's going to be at 119.25, in between 119.25 and 118.85. I would suspect that due to the volume and market conditions, that the only variable being is that you have August 26th earnings, so it is highly probable that you stay in range. And I mean, if you stay in range here, you could even see one last retest of 127. But I would just go ahead and look at this one as a channel trading, choppy, not very good for day trading. Wait for confirmation. 119.25. I'm going to set an alert. I would set an alert there, and I would also set an alert here at 113, and just keep it tracked. Because right now you've got the whole ribbon indicator here flipping red, showing that we could see at least one more pullback. This is on the daily, right? And you have multiple rejections off 127. So definitely no buyers here. We got to go find out now whether there's buyers underneath us that are willing to hold this up. And I think we have either retested that already, being that we tested the 110.65, or and we'll find out probably relatively soon. So, all right, Piton. So my range right there, I honestly like 125, 122.85, and below 112.75. But I don't like this range for trading until it breaks up or down. Either way, it's very, very choppy. I mean, you go to the 5 minute, and you could just set a level here. If you're looking for a day trade, set a level here at that previous rejection zone and just watch it at 117.50, for a potential leg up with the first stop at 118.20 and the second stop potentially around 119. So, all right. Yeah. What do you, let's see, that's it. All right, cool, guys. Well, that's it for me. I'm going to go ahead and hop off, get ready for tomorrow. I didn't do Wish. I'm sorry, Robert. We'll do it now. Everybody and their mother is watching Wish tomorrow. I think we had some people in the group buy some shares. This one did pop here with AMC and the gang. Tomorrow, Wish 1085. We'll watch that one. TTM Squeeze is popping. All right, shut up, TradingView. I know it. Anyway, Wish is. Let me see what pivot points are saying right now. Ooh, damn. Hold on. Yeah. So at least a minimum of a move to $12 tomorrow. Past 1075, 1080, 1075, 1080. Watch this thing to $12. That's that pivot. We're on a daily pivot point, and most of our explosive moves are going to happen off of pivot points, whether that be to the up or the down. So you cross down, you get a nice move to the next S1. You cross up, I would expect this pivot point strategy. Those of you who are new, this indicator is for you. You should check this out. Pivot points are a really good way of finding levels. So if you're a scalper or a day trader, you can use Wish or use pivot points as good profit-taking targets with proper volume and potential entries and exits. Now they're going to be a little bit late, but they do usually provide pretty, and as you can see, relatively accurate marks. for stocks. And of course, the higher the time frame, the more impactful the level will be. So, okay. Do you hear me? Shinobi. Let's do it tomorrow night. I'm about to hop off and go night night. I gotta stop. I'm trying to put a cap on it, but let's do it tomorrow. Anyway, peace out, y'all. I'll see you tomorrow morning, 8:30, 8:45 on YouTube, and we'll get it popping. Thank you guys. Appreciate you. See you tomorrow. Bet I will.